All right. New episode of Real Time.
So much bad news, of course, leading the way, that horrible crash in Washington, D.C. with the plane and the helicopter. And Trump immediately came out and said, we don't know what caused the crash. And then 10 seconds later, blamed DEI.
Yeah, real quick.
And then Bobby Kennedy said they all died from the vaccine. That's... I know you guys are very big on firing, but maybe keep the people who talk to the airplanes.
Man, please.
I get it. You guys are disruptors. They're the disruptors. And then Elon Musk sent out an email, and he said, if you're supportive of our agenda, you can stay. And if you're not, there's the door.
Oh.
Oh, big Oscar scandal. Have you been following this, Angelinos? Emilia Perez. Have you seen the movie?
No, Lord.
One guy. Okay. Well,
Yeah, one guy.
no, I saw it. It's not a fan favorite. I mean, it's not horrible. Put that on your poster. Bill Maher, not horrible. No, it's okay. Anyway, Hollywood is very excited. They have a trans star was going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Has been
The tweets.
Was going to win an Oscar. But, you know, the thing that brings so many people down, yeah, this is a trans person, born a man, now a woman, dug up the old tweets. Oh, the ghost of the old tweets.
Whoa.
Always everybody's downfall, and she denigrates Islam and says George Floyd was a drug addict and a hustler. I guess she didn't get rid of everything from her past. Because Bobby Kennedy, his cousin, is Caroline Kennedy, the daughter of President John F. Kennedy. They're cousins, and wrote a scathing letter, because Bobby's trying to get confirmed now, he's before the Senate, saying that he used to put chicks and mice in his blender to feed to his hawk, and that he... This is his first cousin, and she put this in a letter to the U.S. Senate. You think your Thanksgiving is uncomfortable. We have Max Brooks and Dan. They asked him a question about the crash. They said, will you visit the crash site? Now, every other politician would go, of course, it was a tragedy. And he went, it's the water. What do you want me to do, swim there?
You know what? And I say the same thing about politicians going to the border. What is the difference of watching video footage of what's going on, and you standing there? Some people say, well, you got to see it for yourself. Why? Same thing with the poor reporters who get sent to blizzards and hurricane winds. I believe you if you send a camera, a drone, whatever. You don't got to send that poor reporter there.
For months after he won, I'm not going to pre-hate anything.
Yeah.
But now that he's there, I hate.
Go for it.
I some things I hate.
I was not a supporter of Mr. Trump, but I also was not a supporter of the current Democratic Party as I see it. And I didn't want to...
Me and you, sister. Me and you.
4 years.
And my friends on the right very often say, then why don't you join us? And I'm like, because you're worse. And
yeah, exactly.
An Englishman was asked to define a gentleman, and he said, a gentleman is someone who never insults a person by accident.
I like that.
Thank you very much. Peggy Noonan, everybody. I really appreciate it. All right, let's meet our panel.
One of the few
Boys?
guests who didn't stand up.
Okay.
Yeah. He's funny.
The pendulum never stops in the middle. I mean, DEI, in my view, did go too far. And now we're living in this world where, of course, it never stops in the middle. Now we have to go where it's blamed for everything.
Right. No, this is the
man.
issue of bringing the good jobs back so parents can be close enough to work so they can actually spend time with their kids.
Yeah. To me, that's a big one.
We're getting a lot of information from social media at the moment, which rewards divisive thinking, which rewards polarized thinking. It's binary. It's zero or it's
it rewards
one,
it.
Or it's that. So you could sum it up in one word: hope, right? And that's the thing that needs to come back into American politics, and not just American politics.
Oh God, that'll be so hard right now.
Technology part that you were mentioning? Right. Chinese came out with something called deep suck. No, deep suck. Deep. Deep seek. Well, they shouldn't have named it so. And it is kicking ChatGPT's ass. It beat ChatGPT as the most downloaded free app in a week.
Yeah.
And this was
In a week.
Sputnik moment. Now, kids, I know you don't know what Sputnik is.
What we were teaching our enemies was asymmetry, right? The idea that, okay, well, if you're going to mess with America, don't use bullets and bombs because they're way ahead of us. Use alternative means.
Right.
Yeah.
Cyber is one of
Good
them.
point.
And they are ahead. And you can see a scenario right now because they've weaponized the private sector. Xi Jinping calls Donald Trump and says, hey, we'd like to invest $1 trillion in your meme coins if you privatize the FAA. Next day, Trump makes a speech and says, government's inefficient, we're not going to do it. My good friend Elon, he's got AirX. AirX is going to take over all, and all their chips are implanted in our aircraft. China is going to invade Taiwan. Then they call Donald Trump again like a mafia don and say, remember that plane crash? Be a shame if another 1,000 planes all fell out of the sky. So back the hell off Taiwan. And he will. That's how asymmetry works.
I don't know. It's a little
There's another
conspiracy
historical moment this gets
theory.
back to, and the Chinese takes a look at the piece of paper and scrumples it up and says, go back and tell the Pope to come here and bow down before me and beg for mercy or I will destroy your world. Now,
Wow.
that's Chinese dominance as a world superpower in the 13th century.
I always wondered why China and Japan, they weren't big colonial countries that took over a lot of places, and they could have. I always wondered why. And then I read somewhere that they thought that their society was the best in the world, so why even go look anywhere else? They saw everyone else as below them, and I can see why. And they had no problems with natural resources. They had no need.
We can't be honest about them because they're not white. And China, okay, I'm sorry, kids. They do some bad things, China. And we should just recognize that.
Yeah, I think it's also that there's a problem in that all of this hamstringing is coming from one group of people.
Yeah.
And I tend to call them guilty honkies. You want to talk shit about Fidel Castro? Go down to Miami. You'll find plenty of people willing to have that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here are some ones. These are real. For example, there is Best Tropical Latin Album. Not just Latin, Best Tropical. Best Melodic Rap Performance.
What?
I'm not making, these are real. Best New Age Ambient or Chant Album. Well,
What?
and that's all I have to say about it. No, I'm sorry. All right. Would you like to hear some other ones? Most regrettable facial tattoo. That's Best Christian Gospel Album by a singer obviously in the closet.
Oh.
Delta Blues Artist of the Year, Non-Blind.
What?
Best song that Trump got sued for playing at his rally.
Happens all the time.
Best rap song featuring a siren that makes you think there's a cop behind you. Best New Age Artist whose voice makes your dog tilt his head in confusion. The best hip-hop track calling out the haters even though the haters have a point. Gen Z say it would be a better place if a strong leader was in charge who did not have to bother with parliament and elections.
Oh, Lord.
I think you can be charitable or you can be uncharitable. Let's be uncharitable. These idiots don't know any better, right? So if you look at the system you've grown up in, if you are Gen Z, you would probably say this is bullshit. Give me something else.
Yeah, that's true.
And if that's something else. This is the best time in human history,
Ever.
objectively by
far.
every metric you choose. We now live at the best time.
Just a hot shower.
But
was a luxury 100 years ago.
I don't believe in dictatorship. I wouldn't want it in the United States. But, and it's a big old but, China gets things done, man. And it's really by the order of one man. He snaps his finger, that bridge gets built. That money moves. As soon as he says, that money moves to where it's going. There's no red tape, no bureaucracy, none of that. So that'd be nice if there was some kind of middle ground. And then you got the lobbyists and the briberies and oh my God. and how much something costs. The same bridge that gets built in China, or even at the bullet train, not even a quarter of what it will cost out here.
Sometimes a country can be doing great, but not for everybody.
That's true.
Right?
That's
the height of
absolutely
the
true.
British Empire, when you guys owned a quarter of the world, it was still the time of Oliver Twist and, oh, my lord, might I have another bone of rat? America's doing great. Not for everybody.
Not for everybody. Hell yeah.
The key issue in all of European history, this country has never been invaded because, as George Bush used to say, oceans protect us. And they've been trying to take over Europe in different times of history. They feel like we have a right to retain our culture, and something is being forced on us that we do not want, and that is why they turn to fascism.
I wrote about this in my short story, my immigration short story. Why is it a one-way street? Why is it people of color who go to white countries to better themselves? That's why it looks like an invasion. It's not a street that's going both ways, where a very large amount of white citizens from white countries go to China, Middle East, Latin American countries. And I wish people all over the world could move wherever they want to move, make a living wherever they want to make a living, but it's not like that. It's only a certain group of people who are actually doing it.
His country, he's indigenous. He's an Englishman.
No, he's not.
Wait,
no, he's
you're
not.
English?
My people.
Oh my God, what are you doing here?
The Celtic people, Irish people. Then they were attacked and invaded by the Anglo-Saxons and the Jutes. They are Germanic. Saxons. Anglo-Saxon?
Right.
Saxons in Germany.
Bill Maher looks mad.
Germans. You're German. It's true.
Welsh,
Oh, the poor Irish.
The king at the time of the American Revolution didn't speak English. He spoke German.
Wow.
The Germans. What do you think about
Somebody online brought up a good point. He said that face right there does not look like a face that says, "I'm giving you my heart." Look at that.
I do think he gives a lot of neo-Nazis a boner.
Yes.
I think the one he
Yeah.
doesn't give a boner, and that's Steve Bannon, because he senses some competition.
He's a little on the spectrum.
Yeah, a little bit.
I honestly don't think he was just excited. He jumps around. He does this and that. I just.
But he does more business in China than in Germany.
Yeah, no.
He's also
Never said a word about
not sober.
All right, time for new rule.
New rule. New rule.
Whatever you're doing to your face, stop. New rule, someone must explain to me that I knew I'd fuck that up. Didgeridoo, whatever that fucking thing is. What is it?
Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo, thank you. How do you sustain a continuous tone by inhaling through the nose while pushing air out of your mouth? And two, where do you put in the weed?
Woo! Yeah.
Of the first rule of fashion shows, never walk in front of another supermodel when she's about to sneeze. New rule from now on, when tragedy strikes an American city, let's just assume that they're strong.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
They're all strong at this point.
Boston strong.
Yeah.
Orlando strong. Dayton was strong. El Paso, you guessed it, strong.
Yeah.
San Bernardino strong. New Orleans strong. Now there's Los Angeles strong. And we are. Los Angeles is a place where the people are strong, just not the water pressure.
Oh.
The most beautiful woman in the world, and she says her beauty routine includes acquiring and applying salmon sperm.
Oh, my God.
What he's trying to tell us by continuing to do this dance. Even though it looks exactly like he's jerking off two guys at the same time. And I'm not saying Donald Trump is secretly gay. It doesn't look like much of a secret. No.
Oh.
It reminds me of when I was broke and would put $1 of gas in my car every time I filled up.
Back then, that would fill up half the tank.
It's enough to make you sick, but you can't afford it. When I was growing up in Anytown, USA in the 60s and 70s, I don't remember a single kid being the product of divorce. The word never came up. Other words that never came up? Anxiety, attention deficit disorder, influencer. Because the economy is broken. And if you're in the half that can afford Taylor Swift tickets or private firefighters or anything at Whole Foods,
Anything, man.
ask a Republican what the plan is for health care, and you get Trump saying something terrific. It'll be cheaper, and everyone will be covered, and no one will ever die, and it'll be out in 2 weeks.
We're going to have fantastic health care.
We have a great plan coming out. It's just about completed now. Within 2 weeks.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks.
It might be Sunday, but it's going to be very soon.
Oh, man.
The Democrat version of that is immigration. Here's a graph that shows immigration under Bush and then Obama and then Trump first term, pretty much the same. Then we get to Biden. Well, Democrats can say they weren't for open borders, but it sure looks like someone left the gate unlocked. There are 500 million people in South and Central America. We can't take them all. Someone's got to grow the cocaine. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Catch you on the next one, man.